but I think it's doing a better job than non-professional interpreters. And if we go back a bit, maybe like in the last 4 years, like the market has grown a lot. Like, and for several reasons, like we are doing this podcast here, like
Because
this.
of technology, or
Yeah,
just the fact that
yeah, for several reasons. Like since COVID, like video conferencing has exploded, and that's also been integrated into, like, interpretation has been integrated. But also the world is becoming more multilingual. Like for example, in Canada, like language needs are growing, and it's not me who went to the like CS to ask them like, "Hey, would you like my platform?" It's because they have a need. So when we say talk to our clients, like they came basically to me, or they were referred by the Centec. So they came to see the Centec and say, hey, we have this problem here. Like we have so many languages, it's growing, like year over year, it's growing, and we need to find a solution. So
Now,
sometimes it's worth listening, right?
yeah, for sure. And I'm just wondering, like, are you able to talk about what Canoe does, like its functionality, like how it works, and like, is it like a phone-based app, or how does it work?
Yeah, so currently, obviously, it's very early on in the sense that the first, I'm not even saying like the version one model, but now it's version zero in the sense that it's an MVP. It's just a product that's just, we just have the model, but how to use it and as part of use cases, that's really what we're looking into. Like, for example, for the medical sector, that's very different because conferencing is simultaneous, right? As you
Hmm.
know, as people probably know on this platform here, so I don't have to explain it. It's simultaneous. So you want to have it as fast as possible. You want to have, so our model does text and voice, because reading a whole transcription, like if you watch a movie, subtitles are usually shortened or they go to the essential, right? Because you want to enjoy the action. But what AI does, it gives you a transcription. It doesn't cut anything. So you're not going to spend 9 to 5 like looking at your phone or your device at the transcription. You can do that if you want, but
what do you
you
mean
can,
it does a transcription? So it's not a voice that will come out, or is it a text? What
yeah.
do you
So
mean?
that's one thing. Like most of the models do one or the other. Ours does both. So you can connect your headphones, your earbuds, and listen to the audio, and you have a choice. You want a woman's voice? You want a man's voice? An
Can you
accent,
pick a
Canadian friend.
superstar, or like like have like Mr. T be your
Yeah,
men's voice for
Hmm.
a
yeah.
surgery
That's
that
what
you're
we're
doing?
talking about. Actually, that would be pretty crazy to synthesize the speaker's voice and have it be your interpreter. Because right now you can, like with and you guys probably know, like with short audio clips, you can mimic somebody's voice with AI. So imagine
Yeah.
you could do this with, but well, obviously we're not there yet. But that's just a suggestion. But like, so basically, the model does this both transcription and audio, which is also a needs for accessibility, right? Some people don't see very well. Some people have hearing issues, so they can read or they can listen. And the model also detects language automatically, which is very rare. Like if you pick up your Google Translator, you can click like detect language and you can write whatever, and it'll pick up the language that you're writing into. But if you press the microphone button, it's not there yet. It doesn't do it. But our model does it. And the context in Canada, it's so important because in Montreal here, like every couple of sentences we change language. So imagine you had to manually change the language. That's why a lot of models are not working for conferencing. So that's for conferencing. And for the medical sector, it's important to have consecutive interpretation, which you guys obviously, and people probably listening know, is repeating the message in the other language, because you have the doctor speaking. You don't want a voice over the doctor as he's speaking to his patient at the same time in a different language. You want him to speak, pause, have the translation, and a back and forth like this.
And did they just
Um,
show each other the phone when they're done speaking,
So
or
right now it's in the web app, so there's
oh, web?
nothing to
Okay.
download, which is actually a big benefit, because you
mhm.
can just simply go on the website, enter a code, and then you get into the event or room or whatever you want to call it, and then you can speak. But as I mentioned, we have the model right now. We've applied it to some events, and we're doing a pilot project. So it's about how do we put the
In that
model.
hospital setting, that's the pilot project.
So yeah, it's not, oh, yeah, it's there's different parts in the health sector, and we're looking into which segment to test it into. One could be with pregnant mothers, and the system here welcomes them in like 9 different language. What happens is that they send their question in one of those languages. And being in Montreal, obviously there's lots of languages that are spoken, and then they get their inbox with all these languages and people that they call, and then they have to give the service in that language because they've already given the option. So that would be like one way to design the pilot project. But anyway, we're not there yet, and I'm not privy to the details right now.
Just to make sure, there's a bit of controversy in the world of interpreters. For those of you who don't know about interpretation, there are some controversies sometimes. And one of them is there some companies, not to name them on this podcast, basically use the voice of the interpreters, and allegedly they would put it in their database in order to build their AI. That seemed to have been found in some contracts of some companies, especially based in the US. Can you reassure interpreters that Canoe or America or anyone does not record interpreters for that purpose?